most precious resource we have right now. The younger you are, the more time you have, ideally. And once you couple time with your money and compounding interest, you have a gold mine. Because even if you make mistakes, you're better off making them early. You learn from them. For me, one of the mistakes I made when I was younger is, I think, when we were at UNZA, I hope, I hope this is okay to share. But when I was younger, and then there was this money scheme that came, and it was so exciting. Everybody was on it, and I knew there was something wrong because my mother told me, money is never that easy. Money is never that easy. If it were, we would all be rich. But I was like, everybody, you know, everybody's doing it.
Right.
I made the mistake early. I got on it, and for some reason, all those money schemes, I always knew when I get on it, it closes. It's, you know, like the regulators come in and they stop it, they shut it down, and I'm like, I lost my 40 kwacha. So as a student, that was huge. But what I got from there was all the lessons, all the things I studied, all the things I learned, plus that practical example. I made the mistake early with little money. And the cost of that mistake wasn't as burdensome as when you do it when you're older.
Right.
You have children, you have more at stake, you have less time to play around with your money, and you know, you're just starting out. So time is really, really important when you start out early. You can make use of all those things, and your mind is really open to learn. So I think time is critical in that regard.
So why start now? There's an actual old, there's a saying in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes, I think it's 11:3, which says, the farmer who waits for the perfect weather will never plant. And it's also because the reason you start now is because waiting always prolongs. It's like it compounds itself. So you find an excuse today, then there's another excuse tomorrow. And someone I know says, every excuse is valid, but it's never going to be effective in solving your problems. So step one is because you have to actually get yourself in motion. Reason number two, why now, is because every year you delay investing, you actually increase the amount you need to be investing by about 15%. So every single inch of delay actually adds to the responsibilities you have. Now the question is, are you going to be able to grow your income at 15% to catch up with that requirement? So you need to answer that question as another one. And then third, and most importantly, the power of time. I think young people don't understand. They're fooled into believing that the size of the income determines the outcome of the wealth, when really the wealthiest people are just the people who started the earliest. Warren Buffett, case in point. He just started the earliest. And he's been doing it for 60 years at a rate of 20% a year. That's just literally what he's been doing. Now, as a person who's investing, you'll often find that, I always give a simple example. Who's in a better position when trying to get to a good retirement at age 60? A 45-year-old earning 40,000 kwacha, or a 25-year-old earning 4,000 kwacha, and both of them are trying to invest 10% of their income. Most people think it's the 40-year-old, but actually the person who's going to come up with a better retirement at 60, it's actually the 25-year-old, because there's this thing called compound interest, which adds on to growth and does more of the work. A person investing over 20 years is more likely to find that their savings will do half of the work, or just about 40% of the work in building their wealth. Meanwhile, the person who starts in their 20s heading for age 60, they're going to find that their money, their savings themselves is doing only about 10 to 20% of the work. About 80% of the wealth building is done by compound interest in the market. So to take advantage of it, it's actually a factor of time than it is quantum of income. So start now, and it's also because of compound interest. And three, just to add on to what she's saying, start now because you need to go through the phase of making mistakes. If you don't go through that phase, you're going to go through it at some point. However long you try and prolong it, you're going to make mistakes. So just face them and go through them.
Right, and I think those are very cardinal points. And whenever I say, as I said, when I say now, I'm just like, people do it now. There's more accessibility with the coming of the Luce app. Start now. I'll bring it back now to Luce, the securities that are traded on the Luce stocks.